Bonjour, everybody. This is Tiggy Maximus with Tiggy Maximus Talks, episode 80. Can you believe it, guys? We made it to 80 episodes. Um, 80 episodes on YouTube. Now, for you guys that know, there's also a Tiggy Maximus Talks, also on Spotify, same name. That one has 79 episodes. And, it's interesting come this far, making a lot of episodes on both platforms, Spotify and YouTube. Love talking about comedy shows, love talking about sports, love talking about food. In this episode, I wanted to say, watch the Lakers. They're the 7th seed. They blew out the number 2 seed, Memphis Grizzlies. Impressive fashion. LeBron, Anthony Davis, Dennis Schroeder, D'Angelo Russell, Vanderbilt, Hachimura, Austin Reeves. Just to have that crew, along with Malik Beasley and Dennis Schroeder. That is quite a collective cast, along with Mo Bamba. All these players that the Lakers developed kind of and traded for. And this is the pieces that the Lakers had traded for to make sure they got rid of the contract of Russell Westbrook. So I would say we got a lot of value for his contract. And to get back those players and have them work together with Austin Reeves, Anthony Davis, and LeBron James. And you do have an Anthony Davis and LeBron James who needed to heal up. They were basically banged up. And with these players kind of picking up the slack for like the last 20-25 games and made a push from 13th place in the Western Conference to basically the number 7 spot in the Western Conference. And to see the Lakers not only beat the Minnesota Timberwolves to make sure they get the number 7 spot and then get paired with the Memphis Grizzlies, who could match toe for toe, pound for pound, and make this an interesting series. And after what happened on Sunday, April 16th, 128 112, Lakers beat the Grizzlies. And Lakers look healthy, and they're starting to gel together at the right time. And, well, the Memphis Grizzlies lost Ja Morant, their star player. He may have broken his hand or may have had a massive sprain. And you've seen Ja Morant run out to the locker room to get x-rays. And for a guy to run that fast into the locker room, there is some major damage. And unfortunately, as that may have happened, it seems to be a good thing for the Lakers because they might be getting a lucky break and they might actually be able to take advantage of the situation and Lakers might win the series. I do kind of have it Bucks versus Lakers in the NBA Finals, but even the Bucks lost too. So interesting developments in the first game, but maybe it's an overreaction. But still, a lot of basketball to be played. Each series is 7 games, so best of 7 series. So hopefully, the best team out of every series will advance, and we'll see what happens. I'd like to also mention earlier today, the LA Kings, they were down 2-0, and they might have been down 3-1 or something, but yeah, I remember it was 2-0. But the LA Kings, they went into the Edmonton Oilers arena and fought back, and the LA Kings won 4-3 in overtime in Edmonton to take a 1-0 lead in the best of 7 series. So I would say I'm doing pretty well. My LA Kings, my LA Lakers, they got a bright series ahead of them, so keep it up, guys. Go Kings, go Lakers. So with that out of the way, just want to mention uh, the main event of UFC Fight Night, Kansas City. Just saw Max Holloway fight Arnold Allen in a very high-profile, I guess you could say it's the men's featherweight division, 145 pounds. Good fight, back and forth, but Max Holloway pulled out the victory, unanimous decision. I think 2 of the judges had a 49-46 and 1 had a 48-47, so it was a good fight, and Max Holloway gets to be kind of the gatekeeper of the 145 division, so yeah, I don't know anyone who could actually probably beat him other than maybe it's just really Yair Rodriguez and Alex Volkanovski are maybe the only ones who are probably better than Max Holloway. And then at number 4, you could probably put Brian Ortega. But, I mean, Max Holloway probably will not be challenging for the 145 title since he's already technically lost 3 times to Volkanovski. So, yeah. I don't know what else is there for Max Holloway. I mean, it is his natural weight division, and he did try 155, and that didn't go well. So, I'm not really sure where he can go from here. I mean, he has already been the champion at 145 already, so, and you've already lost to the champion 3 times. So, I guess maybe just now, just for the thrill of being in the 145 division, just having fights, having fun with it. But I don't know if gold aspirations are there, but I don't know. We'll see what happens. All right, and with that, also, I can't forget. The Padres are kind of slipping early. They're 8-10 right now. They just lost 2 games without scoring a run. They lost 1-0 to the Atlanta Braves. No, 2-0 to the Atlanta Braves. That was earlier today. And they lost 1-0 to the Milwaukee Brewers on Sunday. So, offensive sputtering. But, I mean, the last 2 games, I guess the pitching has been pretty well, but if you can't score, you can't win. So, Padres are 8-10. I think they're third place in the NL West division. The best team right now in the West is actually in the National League West is the Arizona Diamondbacks, and then you have your LA Dodgers. Ooh. So I'm going to the Padres game Tuesday, April 18th, which is just so happens to be tax day in the United States. Going with a couple of friends. Thanks for coming with me, Angela and Victoria. Should be fun. My buddy, he's a comic, Billy Orm. He works at Gaglione's on the 3rd level, the main concourse. So I can't wait to see him there. Trying to remember where my tickets are actually, maybe I might run into him. Um, but yeah, should be fun. Although the Atlanta Braves are one of the best teams in baseball right now. Right now, it's the Tampa Bay Rays. They're pretty good. And then you got the um, Milwaukee Brewers. And then you got your Atlanta Braves, who have those three teams have been able to separate themselves from the rest of the pack. So uh, can't wait to see how this 2023 MLB season is going to turn out, along with Kings hockey in the playoffs and the Lakers uh, basketball playoffs. So, and we're coming to the season finale of the XFL Week 10. So, um, already, I think we already have like, I want to say, um, four or at least three of the four playoff spots have already been clinched already. You got the DC Defenders, you got the Houston Roughnecks, and then you got well, I'm pretty sure there's 5 teams in contention. So, because you also have um, the the Seattle. Well, okay, for sure. DC Defenders, and the Houston Roughnecks are both in, and then I believe there's you have the St. Louis Battlehawks, you have the Seattle Sea Dragons, and then you also have I want to say the Arlington Renegades. I mean, for sure, you would have the St. Louis Battlehawks, and the Seattle. Well, actually, no, because what is happening is St. Louis and Seattle. I think there's only one spot between them. And I guess the other spot would probably be the Arlington Renegades, because I don't think the San Antonio Brahmas are going to make it, nor is the Vegas Vipers. Definitely not the Orlando Guardians. So no Guardians, no Vipers, no Brahmas. Wait, no Vipers, no Guardians. No Guardians, no Vipers, no Brahmas. And then you do have your teams that made it: the Roughnecks, the Defenders, the Battlehawks, and the Sea Dragons. I'm pretty sure. Something to think about, actually. All right. Enough of that. Now there's the last week of the XFL regular season, and then it's going to be the 2-week playoff, which will have the May 13th is the XFL championship. So I mean, for sure, it will be contended between the Houston Roughnecks, the DC Defenders, maybe the St. Louis Battlehawks, maybe the Seattle Sea Dragons, um, and possibly your Arlington Renegades. So, um, so with that out of the way, um, I just want to quickly go over the 4 comedy shows I've got to see over the weekend. 2 on Friday and 2 on Saturday. The first one uh, was a comedy show, The Big Cheese LLC, hosted by Kylie Troop and Natasha Collier. And this was at the Haven on 30th Street, which is part of the communal coffee business. And what do you know? I did find parking, so I made it to the show. I did kind of miss on 15 minutes, which means I actually missed on Natasha's set, so I can't really comment about her set. But I've I've seen her set a few times, so I don't know if it's anything different than what I've seen differently. So I'm probably not missing much, but she is funny. So, um, and I guess the first person that came up after Natasha was Cameron Frost. I guess he had his whole thing about talking about SeaWorld. So I guess he did do quite a bit of crowd work. And I'll tell you why I know he probably did crowd work for his set when I walked in halfway through. Because for the fact that he actually was there afterwards at the Madhouse, which I was going to go to anyway because I'm going there to see Adam Newman. So, yeah, Cameron Frost, from the comedy that I heard when I walked in, um, uh, some funny stuff. Um, I just remember that he has a brother who's autistic, and he has this thing about SeaWorld. So, and given that it was a more of an intimate setting at the Haven, and there's pizza being made, um, Cameron Frost, he had some good laughs with the crowd there, and I feel comfortable saying that his set was an 8.0 out of 10. So, next person that went up after Cameron Frost was Kelly Troop. Um, I think it was mostly the same jokes I've heard lately, and there's actually some were kind of new, but I actually have kind of seen her a few times lately, so I'm not too surprised by anything she says. So her jokes are funny. She had this really funny one where she said she walked downtown and a guy just yelled and pointed at her $9, $9, but she said no, no, $20, $20 because I value myself. That's always funny. Um, she talks about having an IUD and uses the analogy of Dikembe Mutombo from blocking shots, basically blocking sperm in this case. So, and she even did the finger wag that's made famous by Dikembe Mutombo. So those are funny bits she has. So, and the crowd kind of ate it up. So I would say that she was 8.5 out of 10. Um, Next person that came up was Ray Lau. Funny guy. This is like my second time seeing him. And yeah, funny guy. Talked about how he produced the show, and he brought his mom out, but they may have double booked his show with the vampire rave show. So he says like he's bringing his mom, and there's all this vampire stuff going on, and he's stressed out, and I guess apparently he um, as he was trying to get his show together, he sees like all these people wearing like the sexy vampire outfits, but the people themselves were not sexy, so you can imagine. And apparently, there was a woman being dragged by a chain dog collar, and um, the mom then sees him and thought that all these people were his friends, and he also talked about how one guy trying to peek through the curtain and like asked Ray what is his show, and he says this is a comedy show, and the guy replied to Ray, "Wow, uh, that comedy show at a vampire rave is a very random thing," and Ray just replied, "Random? Well, it you have vampires, you have women being dragged by a dog collar. Um, that's random." um, so crowd ate it up, and Ray Lau did try to get the pizza makers to do a pizza toss. He wanted both of them to do it. The main pizza maker, I guess, he did the pizza dough toss successfully, but the other pizza maker tried to do it and it dropped on the ground. And he said that, oh, he'll pay for the one that dropped on the ground. And then had everybody like try to look away, look away. That was bad. So that was a funny moment. Uh, uh, so yeah. He also had a bit where Ray talked about his brother, how they went to Chipotle, but he was embarrassed to be hanging out with his brother because his brother had like a hack where apparently you can get more beans by um, having them um, scoop beans of one type, and then by the time the person had already scooped it and about to put it into the I guess you say the burrito for the Chipotle, or like one of those the bowls. And apparently the key is to say, "Oh no no, I want it half and half," um, but to say it by the time they had already scooped it before they put it in your food. So apparently that's the way to get more food, and that's a hack apparently. And like, yeah, you're getting more food, but like, what is the actual cost of trying to be in these, you know, um, being very, you know, being like very cheap and thrifty and being a little smart about getting more food um, than usual, and to get more food at this kind of fast food venue. Um, but the embarrassment of trying such a thing, um, the reward doesn't really outweigh the embarrassment, I guess. So overall, funny stuff coming from Ray. Um, I would say Ray was an 8.6 out of 10. And then next guy that came up was Kane Holloway. First time seeing the guy perform. Got to talk to him at the Madhouse actually, because he actually was going to do open mic there. So at the Haven, he has this whole thing about birds don't exist. I actually know somebody, my friend Steven. fellow wrestling fan, he has this thing about birds don't exist either. So, kind of coincidence. I now know two people who don't think birds exist in this world. So, overall, Kane's set was pretty funny. Got the crowd going. Um, and I would say he was an 8.7 out of 10. I think Kane was the funniest person in the whole lineup. And with that being said, there was one more person after him. It was the headliner, Emily Catalano. Uh, I've seen her clips on Don't Tell Comedy on YouTube, and I'm glad I got to see her set, and I can definitely say she does take her time with her comedy. I mean, she got a lot of laughs, but her approach for each joke and in between jokes was pretty slow. So it kind of like curbed my enthusiasm for her set. I mean, she did get a lot of laughs, but the laughs, well, it was happening um, with each joke. But the thing is, the jokes were, very far apart in time. So when she says something, it does get laughs, but she does have a lot of moments of silence, actually. So I guess in a way, it's kind of a good thing because it gives you a chance to kind of recover from the last joke so you can laugh at the next one. But there is a lot of time in between, so I kind of don't like that kind of slow pace when it comes to telling jokes. But if she has good jokes, that's all that's important because good jokes will still get laughs. Um, but given that, I would give a rating of an 8.3 out of 10 for her comedy that night. So, and it was kind of cool getting to talk to mostly everybody. I guess the only person I didn't get to talk to was Kane Holloway at the Haven, but it turns out I actually got to talk to Kane Holloway afterwards because I got to run into him at the Madhouse, which is where I was going to go to. But on closing thought, I actually did help out cleaning up the after the show at the Haven, and I got to meet. Um, I think her name was Natalie or Natalia. Um, I want to say yeah, Natalie. I think her name was Natalie. So she works at the Haven. Um, um, so yeah, got to talk to Kylie and Natasha and Ray um, and Emily, and then eventually I talked to Cameron and Kane at the Madhouse since we're all going there anyway. So, and then I did see Kylie there too, actually. So yeah, that was kind of cool. Great show. Can't wait to go again. See who's on the lineup, and who knows? I might see Natalie again. So, um, so yeah, that was the first show on Friday night, and then I moseyed on over to the Madhouse. Headliner was Adam Newman. Um, the host for this one was CJ Price. My first time seeing CJ Price. Guy's kind of intense. His whole thing was he looks like a cop and no one ever offers him drugs. And the Friday night crowd, I think, was better than when he hosted the Saturday night crowd. And I'll tell you more. But with this crowd on Friday night, he had a little more laughs. And it was kind of funny. And I would say CJ Price was an 8.2 out of 10. Next up, he brought up Neil Singh. First time seeing the guy, too. Guy is pretty casual and chill. Got some good jokes. And I would say he was also an 8.2 out of 10. Next up was Allison Vastano. She's actually the girlfriend of Cameron Frost. Um, her stuff. She does talk about working at what is it, the marijuana store, one of them out here in San Diego. Um, she talks about being a salesman of marijuana products. Some of it was kind of funny, and then she goes into a whole thing about how she wears headphones and she's oblivious to what's happening around her. And then one time she went to the laundromat and didn't realize that there was a man like masturbating next to her. So and then she mentioned how she didn't like this other guy there who whistles loudly and says, "Hey, my friend, you're whistling too loud. My friend can't concentrate. You can't finish." And then everybody kind of laughed on that. So, um, but she does kind of go a little dark on stuff. So I would say overall, based on the crowd reaction, 7 out of 10. And then next up was Rob Smallfield. First time seeing the guy. Um, don't remember too much about his set, but I think it it got some laughs, but not too many. It was like kind of in parts of the crowd, but never at the same time. So I would say his set was a 7.8 out of 10. And then next up was Dave Rosenberg. I think it was my second time seeing him. I think it was also at the Madhouse, and mostly crowd work, funny crowd work. Mostly asking about couples and stuff. Overall, funny guy, 8.5 out of 10. Next up was Shara Rampton. Seen her a few times now, but her stuff gets pretty dark. Um, she she does talk about how she was babysitting her niece, and niece wanted to build an obstacle course, but she then replies to her niece, "Well, I'll give you an obstacle course. You're pregnant in Kentucky. You work at a Waffle House. Your boyfriend left you. Um, you got to keep the baby. So what do you do?" And then that got some laughs. But again, she does get kind of dark with her comedy, so it probably didn't fit too well with this crowd. So I would say this was a 7.5 out of 10. And then Cameron Frost came up, so that's I got to see a full set from Cameron Frost. So since I missed it last time, um, but yeah, this time he was talking about SeaWorld, and he talked about his brother. He got his autistic brother, drunk, and um, that got some laughs. Um, Overall, I would say 8 out of 10 for Cameron. And then you have your headliner, Adam Newman. He does have a guitar, and he played his guitar as part of his set, and it got some good laughs. Um, I think there's some mentions of dick jokes in there in his musical comical act. So I would say his set was 8.3 out of 10. So, and then there's a crazy open mic that happened afterwards. It just deals with a drunk audience member. Him and his buddy were both drunk, and they were the targets of almost every comic during the open mic. So, and apparently both um, audience members, they happened to puke in the men's bathroom. Everybody knew it.